So this is your stimulus check update. Well, there's no update, but there's an update. Same old news, same old thing over and over and over again. In fact, we all heard that the Democrats proposed and passed the HEROES Act bill. So this is your stimulus check update. A new $4,000 bipartisan proposal in the Senate right now. Secondly, a new prepaid debit card is on its way to you if you have not yet received your payment. Thirdly, what is really going on with the Republicans and the Democrats? Do they really care about the people? Or are they just simply playing politics? Let's get right into it. I'm Rescue. This is your life guide. Wait, before we jump into it, I want you to show some love. Support my new channel by smashing the love and thumbs up button. That's a way to, encourage me to post some new content to you. And also make sure you click that bell button so therefore you will be notified anytime I post some new content. So the Republicans have already made it clear, including the president, that this bill is dead on arrival. DOA. While that bill has passed, there seemed to be only one Republican that actually supported this bill. And that Republican happened to come from New York City. Although he's not in full support of this bill, he felt the need to support it, because he knows that New Yorkers need this.
Almost everything else that's in the bill, I would oppose. I would have strongly opposed it in ordinary times. But the fact that Mitch McConnell was refusing to even consider any type of aid to state and local governments at a time when New York State, Nassau County, where I live, Suffolk County, which I also represent, they have incredible budget problems, and these are directly traceable to the coronavirus.
It's even more sad to learn or to know that the people who actually are yet to receive their money are actually the people who actually need it most. People who are making, $12,000 or less per year, who are not required to file taxes. These individuals, ones that are currently are yet to receive their money. Now, the good thing is that the Treasury Department have come up with, a new so-called EIP card. So this card is a debit card, which is supposed to work like a prepaid card for you to go and take out your money. So this will be mailed to you. You don't have to do anything. It's just going to be mailed to you as a card, and that for you to be able to use. So the Treasury Department said it will send debit cards loaded with stimulus payments to millions of Americans this week. So that's hope. If you haven't received any of your money, this for sure should be, some good news for you. The cards issued by MetaBank will be sent to people who did not provide the IRS with banking information. Austin, Texas, and Andover, Massachusetts, these centers who have processed some of these taxes selected to actually disperse these debit cards to about 4 million Americans. So I think that's pretty good. So we hope that this gets out to the people faster. It's really sad that while Americans actually do need as much help as possible, there's so much politics, and we just hope that that ceases. The Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin did mention that Treasury and the IRS have been working with unprecedented speed to issue economic impact payment to American families. Prepaid debit cards are secure, easy to use, and allow us to deliver Americans with their money quickly. Recipient can immediately activate and use the cards safely. So that is word for word from the Treasury Secretary. So I think that's definitely good for those who have not received their stimulus check, while the Democrats and the Republicans battle the next stimulus check. So the debit card is a Visa debit card, which can be used to withdraw money, to transfer funds, to make purchases, to use as you please. The government did say that it would not be tracking what you use your money for. So basically, you could use your money as you please. Also, if you file jointly, you will not be receiving two separate cards. You will be receiving one single card, which both of you will be using. So you may be wondering, wouldn't the government be able to track my purchases or my activities if I am actually using the card? That's a valid question. Now, it says right here that the government will not be tracking any purchases or or any activities on your card. In fact, it is illegal to do so. The federal law says that under normal circumstances, the government cannot track or ask the card issuer about activities unless you have given written permission. So as a quick recap, those who will be seeing the check, as far as the stimulus check is concerned, from the CARES Act, are if you have a social security number and you make less than $75,000 a year, up to $99,000 as a single filer. If you file jointly, $198,000, you should also be seeing a debit card or a check. And if you're head of household, you make $136,000, $136,500, you should also be receiving your payment anytime soon. So it's great news that the debit cards will be going out and to over 4 million Americans, and I definitely think that's a good news. Once you receive your EIP card, you should be able to have access to your money. Now you will have to visit EIPcard.com in order to activate it, and also check your balances as far as what you have left or what you've used. And of course, if you were me, I'll be concerned about not making sure I don't leave any dollar on there. So I would suggest that once you receive your card, transfer it. Transfer the whole money to a bank account somewhere that you could actually have full access to. If you have any doubts or anything like that, I think the best way is to get your card activated, transfer that money. End of story. So the EIP card is a debit card. It is important for you to understand that it is not a credit card, but it's a debit card. There's a big difference, which means that it will not be affecting your credit in any way. You will not be paying this money back. You simply need to be able to use your money, and end of story. You have nothing to worry about. You just need to be able to use your money. It is not going to affect your credit or anything like that. You will not have to pay this money back. Now, it is great to know that a lot of states are reopening, and no one is really for sure what is gonna happen, if there's gonna be a second wave of the coronavirus. The most important thing is that you and I need to take care of ourselves and really be as much as possible social distancing while we're still humanly connecting with each other. It's gonna be new way of getting used to, as far as connecting with humanity again. But it's great news that we're slowly but surely coming back. I don't think that things will be the normal as we once knew it to be. Even if so, it will take some time. It will take a long time for us to really get to that normality, But the good thing is that we're reopening. So now back to the next stimulus check, right? So the next stimulus check is become a political game, of which we're hoping that somehow it's resolved, but you should not be expecting anything until sometime in June. And in between now and then, there will be a whole lot of other possible proposals. As actually today, right before I started shooting, there is another bipartisan proposal, 4,000 skills training tax credit for coronavirus displaced workers. So this pretty much is a proposal by 4 senators, which is bipartisan. So 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And this basically means that $4,000 tax credit for you to use, which will be given back to you for you to pretty much use to up your skills. I think they are sensing and they know that a lot of people will not be going back to work. So if you're furloughed, your hope is that you will be going back to work when the dust settles. But little did you know that you may not have your job back, or if you do, you will be paid much less. So a lot of companies are suffering and are going through so much, and so therefore you may not get your job back. So this proposal, which is asking for $4,000 as in tax credit, and you may be asking, I need money now. Well, we're talking about credit. Well, the proposal basically gives an opportunity for you to receive $4,000 for you to use for educational purposes. I don't think it means for you to go to school per se, but any expenses that can help you to become a better candidate in your new job search. So it is specific, very specific for training. There is not much information about this yet, but in the days to come, I'm sure that we'll be hearing a lot more about this. This just came out. So $4,000 tax credit, which is the new proposal coming from the Senate. But the difference about this proposal is that it's bipartisan. Sometimes it is not the fact that there is a something that is to be disagreed on in a specific proposal, but it's the fact that your opposition is the one that is proposing it. And once your opposition is proposing it, you're already saying no. Most people, listen to respond instead of listen to understand, right? So that is the biggest problem we have in our political system. You're the one proposing it, so I'm already going to say no to it. Instead of our leaders really looking at the situation at hand and figuring out how can we help the economy right now, the people who are suffering. Republicans have already said that this is like a wish list from the Democrats. Yep, the Republicans think that this is a wish list from the Democrats. This is the bill that was passed. So they're not really interested in this bill at all. And you could see from both aisles that there's so much passion about what is going on. While the Democrats think that the people need money now and they need to be taken care of, the Republicans said, you know what? No, it is not that urgent. Let's reassess things. Let's figure out what's going on. And we don't have the money. I can understand from both ends, but I also think that there's an urgency here. And so politics needs to be subsided if we're going to move forward or progress as civilized citizens.
Just a few years ago, the stock market's at 25,000. Corporate profits are the highest they've been in decades. The rich keep getting richer. And our friends on the other side said, what do we do now? Let's do a tax cut where 83% of it goes to the top 1% of the wealthiest people. Fast forward a few months, global pandemic, 36 million people unemployed, 40% of families who have a worker that makes $40,000 a year and less lose their job last month. 4 million people didn't pay their rent, and the Republican Party says, we don't have any money to help you. Are you kidding me? Where do you guys live? Food lines around the blocks at our food banks in the United States of America. 1 in 5 kids are going hungry. Your party can't even get food to them. This isn't a wish list. If it's a wish list, it's for the working class people. How about the Teamsters that are going to get a pension when this bill passes?
Gentleman's time's expired.
Their pension gets cut in half.
Gentleman's time is expired.
This is ridiculous.
Gentlewoman from New York
on the American
reserves.
people.
The gentleman from Oklahoma is recognized. Gentleman.
I truly understand someone like I who has a few different businesses, what the American people are going through. It is difficult times. Our bills are due. There are things that we need to take care of. Let me give you a case scenario. One of my businesses is actually, we have an office with WeWork. And, the past 2 months, our expense account has been pretty emptied, right? So WeWork tried to charge us our rent, and they couldn't. So 2 months passed, and there was no money in that specific account for them to withdraw from. I already knew that we were pretty much affected in so many ways. I have various businesses, and this specific business is very much affected by the COVID-19. There's nothing we could do. And yet we're ordered by the government to be home. We cannot go out. We have to be home. But of course, WeWork, as our landlord, wants their money. They want their money. They don't care if we have to be home or not. We couldn't leave our home to go to our office, right? So yeah, so they just wanted to get their money. So they've been checking their account and been charging, and the account has been just returning, right? So they have not been able to take money. And guess what? I refuse to even check that account. At some point, I'm getting frustrated about what's going on, and definitely didn't want to deposit any money in that account for them to take. But this is what happened. I received a message. I received an email from WeWork thanking me for making my payment. I was like, wait, thanking me for my payment? I mean, I was a bit in shock. So I was just wondering, like, how? I don't understand. I didn't make any payment. So little did I know that my payment they were talking about was the PPP loan or the EIDL loan that we had applied for was already in our bank account. And they were quick to take 2 months of that money out like that without them blinking an eye. I definitely can imagine what people are going through. There's a lot of bills that are due. If you can't pay, you can't pay. There's nothing you can do about it. But in order for the economy to really move forward, for the economy to really, regain momentum, there needs to be money exchanged. Because guess what? Everything trickles down. If I'm being affected and I cannot pay my employees, my employees cannot pay their bills. And they cannot pay their bills, they cannot feed their kids. And if they cannot feed their kids, and that means that the bodega stores or the local stores around are not getting any kind of exchange in their trade environment in order for them to keep their essential stores open, right? So everything is connected. The money I have, it is what I'm going to use to empower someone else's business, right? And if we don't have the money to spend, we don't have any business coming in, how are we going to operate? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to eat? How are we going to survive? Our politicians are thinking about their election. How are they going to be elected? That's what they're thinking. How are they going to be elected? I really don't care about the Republicans nor the Democrats. I'm neither one of them. I'm an individual thinker, and as a businessman, I definitely like some ideas about the Republicans, and I also like some ideas about the Democrats. So I definitely consider myself an independent thinker, and I think that definitely need to put politics aside and really do something for the American people. Well, that's about it for now. I appreciate your time. Make sure you support by liking, smashing the thumbs up button. That's no way to encourage me in posting more and new content. I'm really excited to be on this new platform, so definitely make sure that you support, and I will be bringing you a lot of news in terms of entrepreneurship, how to better yourself, and how to really elevate yourself to get up higher. In that way, we can all get to the top, because guess what? The bottom is too crowded. I'm Rescue. This is your life guide. I'd like for you to show some love, show support. There's a notification button right there. Click it and also subscribe. Oh yeah, definitely smash gently the like and the love button as a way to show support and some love. So this does not mean that only those who are in Texas or in Massachusetts that will be receiving this debit card. No, it just means that the IRS have different centers, right? So basically, if it happens that your IRS tax returns were processed within that center, those two centers, Andover, Massachusetts, and Austin, Texas, if your taxes were processed within those centers, you will be receiving a debit card.